Quizzes and LearnDash has questions. I'm gonna take the quiz and let's just say I'm gonna select a wrong answer, answer C, finish, and then I'm gonna do view questions. You could see here that it bordered it with the green one. That means that's the correct one. So I'm gonna try again. Restart the quiz. Start the quiz, and then I'm gonna answer the correct one this time. So finish the quiz. If I click the view question, you could also see that we don't have that red section, and it is colored in solid green because we got the answer correctly. Hi there, Danica here, and in this video we are gonna check out the quizzes in LearnDash. So this is still a continuation on the playlist that we have for the LearnDash for beginners. If you have missed the previous videos, I recommend you check those out because we have in there covered the courses, lessons, and topics for LearnDash. So check those out if you have missed, and then you could go back to this quizzes topic after. So for this video, we're gonna focus on the quizzes for LearnDash, and then I have a diagram here. I'm gonna use this to visually explain the different plugins that I'm using with LearnDash website when I'm creating one. So right now we have LearnDash, and then we also have GamiPress, and then it will have another branch on later. I'm also gonna do this for those custom type of design that we're doing, especially with GamiPress and ACF and maybe other plugins that I'm also using. So I'm gonna share a link to this chart. So check out the links in the description if you'd like to check and see how this looks. So there are gonna be more details in this one later. But for now, let's focus on the quizzes in LearnDash. So quizzes and LearnDash has questions, and then the different kinds of questions that you could build are they have single choice, multiple choice, free choice, sorting choice, matrix, sorting choice, and then fill in the blanks, assessment, and then essay. Now you could check out the link that I'm going to include for this page. This is the documentation from LearnDash for what type of questions you could create inside the plugin. They may add more type later on, but for now, by the time of this recording, these are the lists that they offer. On this page, they also give a very detailed example how each looks and works. So you could check that out in here. So they also have in their description that you could award points to the questions. But I'm also gonna recommend that if you're planning to award points, I recommend you use a plugin like GamiPress for that, because you could create points type or achievement type in GamiPress and then assign or trigger that when the quiz has been completed. But more on that in another video for GamiPress soon. Okay, so how does this look on the back end? Now, on LearnDash LMS, we have quizzes, and again, we have questions here. So if I create a new quiz, by the way, we also have settings in here. This is more on the quiz builder and the way it notifies the admin and the user when they submit that quiz or answer that question. So you could also control that here. If you have an essay type, you could also award the points or approve that essay in this location. So if you have group leaders, they will have access to this page, and then they could give a points or approve that essay for their students that they manage from the group that they are a group leader with. We're gonna have another video about the group and the group leader functionality. So I'm gonna go back to the quiz here, and I'm just gonna try to add a new one. So let's just say test A. So this is the quiz page, and then I could add some content goes here. And I'm just gonna publish this right away. So if I view this quiz, so that's how it looks. And then on the builder here, just like the course builder, So here I could add the questions directly. If I enter the title, this is actually admin label purpose only. So you could like name it with anything because only the admin can see this part. And then here the question is where or what your student will see. So questions for students here. And then it says answer is missing. So we have a single choice and we are saying that we want to award 1 point. But let's just say I'm going to do 100 points. So that points basically is per question. So we could also do different type of points, as I mentioned, via GamiPress. Like example, if they complete this entire quiz, you could give a points. You could also do that. And then what that points is for is under settings, there is a grade. So passing score is either 100%. The default is set to 80%. You could give a certificate if they pass this quiz. So in our diagram here, so we could give certificate if they pass the quiz. You could enable quiz saving. So it says quiz saving allows your user to save their current quiz progress and return to it at later date and preserve their progress. You could also restrict quiz retakes, question completion, all questions required to be complete. So if you want to make sure that they answer all of the questions that you've attached to this quiz, you can check this out. And then you could also set a time limit. So it's like the forced timer that we could do with lessons or topics. So we also have that in the quiz. Just like the courses, lessons, and topics, they also have quiz material options where you could enable a tab. So if I add this, maybe resources, so that we see how that looks in the front end. And then you could do an auto start. So if you want to set to start automatically without the start quiz button. So how that works is, example, this one, if I refresh this, there's a start a quiz here in my example. If you want to skip that and have them start the quiz right away without clicking, just by loading the page directly, then you could track that one. But if you want to have that button, then leave this and track. And more options at the bottom in here. Now let me just add a quiz or a questions here so that we see how this works. So it says answer is missing. So I'm just going to do answer A. And then required correct answer is missing. So you need to set which answer is correct. So if I click this, that message is gone. But of course, we want to give them more option so that they can select and see if they understand what the question is. So if I update this, so refresh, as you can see, this one is the one that we set here. And then this is, of course, the quiz title. And then we enable the materials, right? So it added this tab, just like how it works with the course, lessons, and topics. So if I click this, start a quiz, and like if I answer, so the one that we set correct was A. So if I say B, and then finish, so it says you have reached 0 of 0 points and says 0 of 1 points answered correctly. So that means you haven't finished or completed this quiz. So if we open this one, question settings, you could actually set a message for correct answer. So let's just say if they got the right answer, we're going to say congrats. And then if they have it incorrect, so we could do please try again. You could also give a hint. So let's just say this is a hint so that you could see how that looks on the front end. And then I'm going to update this. And then I'm going to refresh. So I'm going to take the quiz again. And let's just say I'm going to select a wrong answer again. So I'm going to do answer C, finish. And then I'm going to do view questions. So you could see here that it bordered it with the green one. That means that's the correct one. And then this was my answer. And then it says incorrect. And this is where that custom message will be displayed that we have set here for please try again. So I'm going to try again. Restart the quiz. Start the quiz. And then I'm going to answer the correct one this time. So finish the quiz. It says 1 of 1 answered correctly. And then you reach the 100 points. And now, before we only have the view questions and restart. But this time we have here the click here to continue. If I click the view question, you could also see that we don't have that red section. And it is colored in solid green because we got the answer correctly. You could also see here that we have the correct and then the custom message that we set, which is congrats for successfully answering the questions. So if I click here to continue, so nothing basically happens. So here. And if I go and check out my profile on the back end, so this is a GamiPress points, so it's 0. And then what is on the back end is I have the 100 points. And you could also see that I have the test A as 100% completed. The problem is, example, if I just go here, there's kind of no indicator that I've completed this, right? And if we go to the quizzes, okay, so there's no archive that we have set for the quiz. But you can see that there's no indicator in here. And the reason is we haven't attached this quiz to any course, lesson, or topic. So if I go here to the settings, so it says quiz access settings. So control the requirement of access settings. So the very first option is to associated course. So we want to link your quiz to a course or a lesson or topic, as you can see in here. So if I, example, assign this to one of the course, which is creating a LearnDash course, and then maybe there's another lesson that I also want. So if I just set the course, let's just check how that looks. So I'm gonna go here. So now it is at the very bottom, and this is their icon. X and check with some rectangle size of the icon, and then it says test A. So if I complete this from here, how that's gonna look is it's now green. As you can see, the icon changed to color green. Now if we change this to, let's just say, associated to this one, to this lesson. So if I refresh, it's gone here, but it should be in here. So it says one quiz. You could actually expand that and see that the quiz is in there. So if I visit this lesson, you could see that the quiz is in here, and it still maintained that progress that I have, which means I have completed it because it's now in green color. So let's just say I'm gonna add a new question for this quiz. Let's see how that looks. So if I'm gonna do new question, and again, your student don't see this one, only this question. So again, this first field is for admin only, so you could name it with anything. And then it has this exclamatory icon. So that means you need to continue and set your question. So let's just say this is question 2. And then this time I'm going to do a multiple choice. So I need to do answer A, answer C, answer D. And then from radio button, it now changed to a check mark because you could do like a multiple choice for this one. And then again, I want to give 200 points for this second question and then update that. So now if I refresh this page and try to start the quiz, again, I'm going to go to that one. And then it presented the quiz 2 question. Now let's change something on the settings here because you could actually display all the question at one page. So it says question display all questions at once or one question at a time. So the default is one question at a time. And then the second one is all question at once. And then here you could set like how many questions per page. If you have a lot of questions, you want to set this one. Maybe 10 questions only per page. But for my case, I only have 2. So I'm going to leave this to 0, which means all. Update. Refresh. So if I start the quiz, this is the first question. And this is the question 2. And you could also see that we had a hint for question 1, the ones we set earlier. So now if example, I enable this quiz saving, so I'm going to update that. Let's see how that looks. So if I'm going to start a quiz and let's just say answer B, and then I'm going to go back, maybe B as well. And then I'm going to go to 7 and then try to go back to that quiz. So you could see that the answer has been maintained. So it's been saved. So I can still have those answers that I selected, though I haven't clicked the finish quiz in here. So that's how the enable quiz saving works. Save quiz data to the server every 20 seconds. So that's the default. You could also decrease this, but so that will for sure affect your server activity. So just keep that in mind. I think every 20 seconds should be fine. Now, if we enable the restrict quiz retakes and then a number of retries allowed, if 0, that means they can only take it 1. So retries is applicable to, so you could limit this to registered user only, anonymous user only, or all user. The default is all user. So if we like update this, let's just say I'm gonna give this first one a wrong answer. Well, let me just refresh that. So, okay, so it's actually recorded already that I have taken the quiz and may not take it again. Because if I visit the profile, it actually captured the data from here that this lag and student has already taken this quiz. So that's why I can see that message. So immediately it works right away. So that's how the retake quiz restriction. If I add or increase this to, let's just say 10. Let's see how many times. I only took it 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So if I refresh this here, so it now allows me back to take this quiz. And I still have that saved answer that I have, which is great. Next is the time limit. So let's check out how that works. So maybe I'm going to set this to 2 hours and 22 minutes and 30 seconds only. If I refresh this page and continue the quiz, so it now has this time limit and it says I only have 2 hours, 22 minutes and 20 seconds to complete this quiz. So just like the force timer, which we have covered in the previous videos, kind of work exactly like that. So the quiz materials, again, it's this tab. And then if I, let's just say, set this to auto start. So if I update this and then refresh. So as you can see, it did not present, or you can see the button, right? That start quiz. But it immediately like opened the quiz for me. So if I untrack that just for you to see what was the previous look. So it has this continue quiz and I need to click that to see the questions But if I do like start automatically, so you can see that it immediately opened, though it still kind of showed for 1 second, the previous message, but it will open up right away for you. Question overview table. If we enable this, it says we could display the quiz summary, and we could also do a skip question. So if I update that one, so it presented me with this option. So example, if I have this current, reviewed, and then answered. So if I have like quiz summary, so it says that 2 of 2 questions completed. So question 1 and 2, because I already took it last time, right? Maybe I'm gonna remove this from my history so that we could see that properly. Okay. And maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disable this and then 1 question at a time. I also want to display the back button and then change it to display results after each submitted answer. So let's do that. Okay, so continue quiz. Okay, so I have the current, review, answered, correct, and correct. So it's gonna color the items based on that. So as you can see, I have the current because I'm in question 1. And then it says answered because, we have saved the user or the student's progress. So that's why it recognized that. But it don't have the result for whether I have the correct or incorrect answer. So if I visit the question 2, so it's still the same. So the one that we have like enabled is first, we have displayed the result after each submitted answer. We also enable this when we enable that this part or section has shown. And we enable the quiz summary, which is this button. And then we also have the skip question option, which is this one. So the way it works is we could like review the question and then we have the quiz summary. If we click that, so basically that's our progress. And then we could just immediately finish this because we already have answered the quiz 1 and 2. If we go back, we have a hint, we have a skip, and then we also have another skip here. And we could just finish this right away if we want to, but let me just do something here. So if I go to the the question 1, and then I can't uncheck this, the ready button. So I'm gonna go and say check, and immediately it colored that with the red one, which means the first question was incorrectly answered. And we have the message here. And then on the next page, if I uncheck this and say skip, so I'm gonna just check. Okay, so you must answer the question. I think it's because we have all questions required to complete this part. So I'm gonna try to uncheck that. Refresh. Let's try to check. And that allowed us to skip the question 2. And then it presented question A and B as the correct one. And of course, it marked as we have the question 2 answered incorrectly. So if I click review question, seems doesn't do anything. But if I do quiz summary, so I can see immediately which question I got wrong or right. And if I finish this quiz, it says 0 of 2 questions were answered correctly. So I need to retake this actually. So if I go back and just check out the question, I could see that answer A and B was the correct one. Next is custom question ordering. So it says we could sort it by category. We could also like randomize the question. This is very helpful, especially if you allow them to retake the quiz. So when they retake, it will randomize the order for you, and it's not gonna just follow what you have in here in your builder. So if you need that, you should enable that one. And then additional question options. So you could do points value, question category, numbering, number of answers, and so on. So let's check how it looks after we have enabled the additional question options here. So we have enabled this, and the first one is to enable the points value. So here you could see that we have the points value showing. Next, if we enable the question category, but we haven't set any question category, so I think we're not going to see that from this end. But example, if you want to assign a question category, you could do that on this side, and it says create new category. Let's just say category 1. If I create that and I refresh, oops. So it's actually give me this error message after assigning the category. So I'm gonna turn that off. Let's see. So that's just very strange. I'm not sure what that error is for. So what I'm gonna do is let me try to create a new quiz and start from scratch. Wondering what that. So I'm just gonna use this final exam for us to continue. But that's just very strange. I'm not sure what that is. I'm gonna get back to you once I have figured that out, what that error is. Or maybe you have tried or experienced that one. Let me know how you have handled that. But let's continue because I want to finish this part. So we were in the additional question options, and we have enabled. I'm going to leave the question category off for now, but I'm going to do question position and refresh. Okay, so we now have this question position. So it says 1 of 1, and we have the points. If I do question numbering, so we have this question numbering enabled, and then number answers. So we now have this part enabled, and then randomize answer. So it's now random. So originally it is set to answer 1 and 2 on the page builder. So here, but now since we have enabled that randomize answer, it's gonna mix up the order. I think it's very helpful, especially if you allow your students to retake your quiz. You should use that. And again, we could also randomize the order of your questions as well via this button, and then do randomize. Okay, next is the results page display. Here, we could enable this part, and it says when enabled, the first message will be displayed to all users. To customize the message based on earn score, add new graduation levels, and set the from field to the desired grade. So from 0% display this message, and then you could do 100% display this message. So example, if they only reach 0 to, let's just say, if my passing score is 80, so if I 0 to message, so it says, so maybe continue, you did great, something like that. So That's the result message. And again, you could add another one. Let's just say on 50%, maybe try harder, something like that. So if I enable this part, so the correct answer is answer 1. So if I like start this one and answer 2, view questions, so I actually need to do, because I only have one question, so it's hard to display this one. So I will always get the 100 point score because I only have one question here. But as you can see, the continue message for those who haven't passed will be shown here. So if I retake this one, start the quiz, answer 1, finish, you did great. So that's the message for the result. So this is actually like a generic or all-in-one message, because from our earlier, right, I showed you that you could do this correct message, correct answer, and then you could also do incorrect answer. And if I like restart this one, start, and then answer 2. So view questions. This one should show in this box, but I'm not sure why. So let's try that again. So you did great, which is our message here. So this is like an all-in-one question message. Congratulations. This is more specific to the question. So this is based on the quiz result. This is based on the question. So let me just check. It's not showing in this part. Supposedly it should. If I turn this off, and then I'm gonna try that again. It's still showing that result message that we have set. I think this is a cache or a data that is already stored in me since I have taken the quiz already. So I'm gonna try to remove it from my profile. See how it looks. Answer 2. So yeah, it's still getting that even if I already like turn it off. Still showing that one. And it still doesn't show this message here. I assume this is a bug because in the earlier test we did before that error had showed up, this was working fine. You did see that it was showing in this box, the ones that we have set here. So this should be like a bug from their end. So let me just try if so still have that error, unfortunately. So maybe what I'm gonna do is just to demonstrate this. Let me try to add a new quiz here. I'm in question. And I just want to like see if that message will now display. So I wanna do your correct message and then your wrong. Oops. Actually need to select this. Let's try again. So answer 1 and then answer A. You did great. correct. And then you can see that the message is now in here. So maybe because we have switched back and forth, and then this was already added, and it just simply did no longer recognize the one that we set in here, which is very strange. Now it's blank. Okay, so maybe you're correct. Maybe this time it's gonna show now. You're wrong. So it should be answer 1 and answer A. Answer A. Answer 1. You did great. You're correct. Yep, still not showing. So I think it's a bug or something. Maybe I need to refresh or clear my cache. I'm not yet sure. Once I have bumped into the solution, I will share that with you. But for now, I wanna let you know that this had happened during my test. So maybe if you also experience that problem, maybe what you could do is open a ticket with their support, LearnDash, or try to clear your cache. Or like what I did, recreate the question. Although if the question has been taken by other students already, I don't recommend you do that because it will just mess up with the recording. So highly suggest to open a ticket if you have this kind of issue. So that was the results page displayed. So we also have average score, category score, overall score. These are already turned on by default, by the way. And I could also like turn this off. If I update that, it should remove something from the results page. Finish. So it's no longer allow me to view the summary of the one that I just taken and the answer. This is nice so that you could like not show what was the correct one for those takers, especially if you allow them to retake. You want to turn that off because they're gonna get an idea which one is the correct, because LearnDash is gonna highlight that for them. So you want to turn that off. You don't want them to see the correct answer. So last but not the least is the administrative and data handling settings. So this one, they have a custom field. It says enable this option to gather data from your users before and after the quiz. All data is stored in the quiz statistics. So if I add this, it says field name. So maybe field 1. I haven't used this one yet, but we're gonna try. So field A, and then so maybe any feedback, will that work? Are required. And then maybe any suggestions. Text area. Did you learn something new? Yes or no? Okay. And then on the display position, it says on the quiz start page or at the end of the quiz. Maybe what I'm going to do is I'm going to show this. Oh, well, let's leave this at default here and see how it looks. And then update. Okay, so if we put that on the first start page, so it's gonna ask this question before they can start the quiz. So that should be very useful. Like if you want to learn more something about them before they start the quiz, then they need to fill this in. And you could also turn that to required if you really want them to answer that. You can also put this at the end of the quiz. So it's more on maybe asking for feedback. So start the quiz, answer 1, finish. So any feedback, any suggestion? It's weird because it's showing the question twice this time. So I'm not sure if that's another cache thing. So let me try to clear my data here. That's will solve that one. So on the setting, tools, sweep all. So I always use this plugin, but this is always like my very last option or that I do, because it will also remove those draft stuff that you have in the website. So you need to be careful. If you really want to run this one, maybe I suggest you do a backup first, just in case you have those drafts, or maybe working with someone else and they are doing something in your website, it will remove those drafts that they are working on if you swept it all here. So just a warning for that one. So let's refresh, start the quiz. So A1. Still showing twice. That's just strange. Strange, because it also when I switch how it display in position, I assume it created it again. It's kind of weird. Yeah, so I'm just gonna remove that. You could also see that the ID number. So yeah, it did create that. So if you are gonna display this and switch back and forth on the position, so just note on that one. So this is my first time using that field. But again, if you have experienced just exactly the same issue as that, just refresh your page and it should have created a duplicate, which is, again, I'm not sure why, but it did. So this type of custom field, it should be very helpful actually for getting a feedback after they've taken the exam. Maybe you want to learn more how you could improve your questions. So you want to we want to have your students answer this for you. Next is the leaderboard. So this will show a table based on the ranking of the students who have taken this quiz. You could also display the table in another page and call it like via shortcode. In here, it has an option that says display on the quiz results page. So it will show after they have completed the quiz as well. And then sort listing by best students, newest entry, oldest entry. So you have that option. In the LearnDash documentation, there's an example for how it will look like this. And this is the shortcode that you can use to display this leaderboard in another page. So it should be very helpful, especially if your type of courses or learning is very competitive and you wanna congratulate those who have taken the quiz and got the highest score. This leaderboard should encourage them and give them idea about the ranking and points and stuff. So you could enable that if you need it. So next is quiz statistics. So this is the one that your student see after they complete the quiz. So it was the button that we click where it says view questions, where we could see how the results went, whether you have answered the question correctly or not. So that's the feature by default. It was turned on. In their documentation here, it's also linked to some options like category, but it did give us some error earlier, so I'm not sure yet. So it says you could display the percentage score via category like this. But again, we haven't tried that yet because it did show the error. I usually don't assign category to the questions. But yeah, it's an option if you need one. Maybe I will try that more, see how it exactly looks. And if I bump into the same issue or error again, I will share that with you and see how I could or will handle that the next time. Next is email notification. So the one that we saw here, settings, this one. So if you wanna enable email notification for this quiz, you can turn that on and decide if you want this to be for admin side notification only or for user side as well. So even if you assign it here, that doesn't mean that you'll get notified because you already set this one. You need to turn this on the quizzes page. So decide whether for admin you want to notify the admin and also you want to notify the users about the quiz that they have taken. quiz template. So this is when you create a quiz and you use that for template. So you could save this as a template. So you could create a new template or select a template to save or new. Advanced settings, you could control the browser cookie, answer protection. So you limit the user's answer to the browser cookie until the quiz is submitted. Next is the associated settings. So if you turn this on, it's actually going to give you some warning. We do not recommend editing this unless for a specific reason. It says it will change the database association. So that means, I think based on the linked one, these are select a pro quiz, new quiz. So these are quizzes that already exist in this website, and it's allowing you to change its settings. I'm not sure, haven't tried that yet, but you could check out their documentation if you're looking for maybe merging or pointing existing quiz from one source to another. Maybe that's how it works. I haven't tried that personally, but if I bump into this one and use it for my project, I will share that with you and let you know how it works. So yeah, I hope this covered the quiz settings. There's actually a lot here. And also, you could see there's also associated content on the side, questions, and this quiz. So associated content, you could see which lesson the quiz is assigned, and for the quiz question, you can see which question is assigned to this quiz. So there's a lot of things going on in here, but the settings here will allow you to do a lot of stuff for how this quiz will work for your students. So check that out. In the next video, I'm gonna dive in more inside the questions page. So I'll see you in that next video. And if you have any question regarding the quiz, please comment that down below. I'm also new in some of the sections here because usually when I set up the quiz in LearnDash, it's just very direct to the point. I already have the list from the client and I know exactly what to do. But you can see that they have different kinds of ways of displaying the quiz and the question inside. You could randomize the order, you could show some navigation at the top. So if you really need that, then you have that option. But I also recommend that if you don't, then keeping your quiz and question page as simple as you could, where your student will not be bombarded and all of those data that they may not need, then keeping those options off will also help your student focus on the question and answer the questions as fast or as focused as they could. So yep, I hope this video helps. Let me know if you also bump into those errors that I have encountered. But yeah, thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.